Thrifting might be my all-time favorite way of to shop, but there is another kind of thrifty shopping that is also really interesting. Consignment stores. If you've ever wondered how to navigate a consignment store or just exactly what they are, or even if you love them and you go all the time, this video is for you. Consignment store is a store that sells belongings of individuals like you or me. So you can take in your merchandise, and if they accept it, they don't automatically accept everything like Goodwill does, but if they take it and it sells in their store, then whatever they price it at, you split that 50-50, most of the time 50-50. There might be 60-40 or other kind of splits, but I've only ever heard of 50-50. You split that 50-50 with the consignment stores. Are more like shopping in a new clothing store than a thrift shop is. So consignment stores come in all styles and vibes and flavors. So the first thing to do is to try to find a store that you like. Google consignment store plus your city or consignment store near me, and then pay each one of them a visit. In my case, local where I live, there's one I really like and I seem to find things there all the time. There's one that I like less well, but they have a really great bargain rack. And then there's one that I never go into at all because there's something about the layout and it just doesn't work for me. Sometimes consignment stores will show their stuff online on their Facebook or Instagram feed, so you can kind of see what they've got before you go in and maybe even place a hold on it. Sometimes they'll let you hold things. And because the owners of these stores are very particular about what they'll accept, and they really only accept the best, and sometimes it feels like they only accept stuff that's new, the prices are going to be much higher than at a thrift store or a charity shop because they're splitting the proceeds between themselves and the seller. So right there, like if something's $7, the store's only making $3.50, and then they're paying the consignor $3.50 as well. And then, of course, they've already curated what's in there. They've been very careful. They've gone through people's things and they've accepted or rejected what's come in their door. And so they've done a lot of work. They've done a lot of work up front to weed out stuff that is not going to be so great. Whereas at a thrift store, you go through lots and lots that's really not great before you get to like the one gem. Consignment stores, you tend to see more gems for sure. Kind of a bummer that the prices are higher, but they've done a lot of the work for you, and that can be really nice too. Shopping in a consignment store is usually much more like shopping at a regular store. Like everything's displayed really nicely. They might have things on mannequins. They have outfits that they've styled on mannequins or hanging up on the wall. It smells nice. That's the thing. The prices are higher, but then when you start to look at the brands and the quality, it's still way cheaper than it would be to buy all that stuff new. One consignment store can be completely different from another one, and the cool thing about this is that you can find one that really vibes with your style, and you might go in there and consistently find wonderful things and be able to save time by ignoring all the other ones around you, because you just have this one go-to one. And you might even get to know the staff or the owner, and then he or she can keep an eye out on things for you. But I have a friend who, staff at our local store, noticed she'd bought a lot of things that were actually all from the same person because it's all like numbered. And they were like, oh, you like number 29 stuff? We can see, we can give you a call when she comes in and drops off a bunch of stuff to consign this, so that you kind of have first pick of what it is. So that was really cool. Price tiers, in my experience, I think there's about 3 tiers of stores. Some of them are really posh and they feel like a high-end boutique that I would never go in ever because I would be too intimidated. And the brands they stock are really posh and the prices are really high, but of course way cheaper than they would be new. I recently went to a store like this and I had a really great time. I didn't end up buying anything, but I really loved looking around, and they had a really, really nice fitting room and a gorgeous selection of formal wear and also maternity formal wear, which I thought was pretty interesting. If you like the high-end stuff, or you have some particular brand you like, I think going to one of these posh kind of consignment stores can be well worth it. And I'm definitely planning to go back there as I learn more about my style and designers that I like. This is the kind I'm more familiar with and comfortable with. There's like, I think of them as like the mid-range consignment stores, and they will have stuff from brands like Ann Taylor and Gap and Banana Republic, and they might also occasionally have higher end brands, and they might also occasionally have lower end brands. Everything will be displayed really nicely, and it will also be fairly pricey. And also in this kind of mid-range, I've experienced there's like chain consignment stores, like there's Clothes Mentor and Plato's Closet and nationwide, and they tend to be really, really big and have tons and tons and tons of stuff. And I think they might be franchises, and so they're locally owned. And they're really cool because they're really big and their selection is just massive. I have found that their price points are higher for the same brand names and quality. So they're a little higher priced than like the local indie stores, but they're still really cool to visit. And they do have, like all of them, like my last video I talked about, they do have really good year-end sales, which is my favorite time to go to consignment stores, because then you get more of the thrift shop price and less of the consignment store price. And so in many cases better than the thrift store price. Vintage consignment store. And here everything is going to be like really curated and really on trend. Like, for example, I went to one recently and they had this beautiful rack of jeans on display, like all hung from like one clip. And they were all either baggy or they had like pleated fronts or they were this 90s wash. And I thought, oh yeah, I remember reading that baggy 90s style jeans are coming back into fashion. And so I bet you what this store did was they ran out to the local thrift stores and they found the best baggy 90s style jeans they could, and they washed them and pressed them and hung them up real cool on this rack in their cool vintage consignment store. Or maybe people consigned them, because it is actually, I mean, not to say they are a consignment store. Like I know you can bring things in and consign there, and some really, really cool things in places like that. But they've done so much of the thinking for you and really weeded through and found like the coolest vintage items, and still the prices are going to be reasonable compared to like a new item. And you might find something really quirky and truly unique. And also the atmosphere in the ones I've been in is usually really fun and chic, and the vintage posters. And this one I just went in last week, they had a really cool GE refrigerator that was working. It was turquoise. It was just a lot of fun just to even be there. In a nutshell, what you're going to find at consignment stores is high quality brands and merchandise, both affordable prices compared to what those brands would be new, and a pleasant and fun store atmosphere, more like shopping in a new clothing store would be. Become friendly with the store owner, let them know what you're looking for. Full disclosure, I've never really done that, but like I said, my friend has, and she's had great luck with that, so I would definitely recommend that. Can't look for quality and not so much the brand name, because like check the fabric, get to know your fabrics, check the seams and see how they're sewn. And because there's a lot of really good brands out there that like the shop owner might know that we might not know. Like I only know a very few brands. You can definitely spot quality without needing to know names. Very last tip, which I pretty much made a whole video about last week, which I will link down below. Shop out of season at consignment stores if you're not crazy about the higher prices like me. I'm trying not to be such a cheapskate, because I think it is worth it to buy like one really good thing and just spend the money. But I love getting things for cheap. I mean, I know I'm not alone. So in my experience, and consignment stores have amazing end of season sales, and the prices can be even better than your local thrift store. Like I said, I just went to my favorite one's 80% off sale, and I got things for like $1.50, $1.75, $2 for really nice, in one case, a brand new sweater. So definitely go at the end of the season and shop out of season for deep, deep discounts. I hope that this helped you get to know the world of consignment stores a little bit. Please leave me a thumbs up down below and a comment if you have anything to add about your experiences consigning or with consignment stores. I would love to hear more about this, and I will see you in the next video. This is Kathleen from oldworldfarmhouse.com.